Welcome, everybody, to the Creators Table podcast. I am your host, Tyler Watson, and I am here today with Makenzie Dailey. Makenzie, she really likes photography and film, currently enrolled at SCAD as a major in film and television, and minoring in photography. She loves music and just exploring and being able to experience other people's arts. So how are you doing today?
I'm doing well.
What can you, well, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do to get started?
Um, I am mostly doing photography. As of right now, I have been doing it for so long. But I also have done some filming stuff. Um, but I'm just excited to be able to explore that at SCAD and everything, which I think is
Gotcha.
really cool.
Okay. Why don't you so what is it for photography, what do you mainly take? Well, I don't even know what the best way to say this is. Like what do you mainly take photos of, I guess? Like what are you capturing mainly?
My main artwork is mostly like portraits, but in a different way. So, for example, my AP photography class, my theme is identity through people. So, just for me, I like shooting people more than, let's say, like landscapes or like
Mm-hmm.
landmarks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, I experiment more with with being able to take pictures of people and just like kind of like express emotion and like events through that.
Are you ever wondering why none of your videos are going viral or why they're never getting enough views? Well, it's probably because the platform needs to be changed. And now there's a new platform where you can be more successful on. And that platform, of course, is Creatova. Creatova is a website dedicated only to artists, musicians, crafters, and so many more things. Its purpose is to better advertise artists, better incentivize sharing your arts, and hopefully create more successful opportunities for artists and musicians. Go up there, make an account. The link will be in my bio, or you can search creatova.com. And yeah, have a great day. When did you get your first camera?
Um, so it was actually my dad's, and I used it for so long more than him. And, just over the years, he got busy and he just
Mm-hmm.
like never really used it. And like, I just kept asking him, I was like, like I'll pay you the money, like just let me have it, like, and he was like, it's really expensive, he'd give me like these little cameras and then they would just like either break or like the quality was bad. And then like on my 15th birthday, like before in eighth grade actually, on my birthday, he like wrapped up the camera and he was like, it's yours now. Like I don't really use it anymore and you're like gonna do stuff with this. And I've had
Oh.
that camera for like 7 years now. It's like my soul almost.
So you stole it. That's what I'm kind of gathering from this. I'm kidding.
I did pay him back. I did
Okay.
pay him back.
Oh, okay. There we go. I thought about buying a camera, and I feel like everybody has that kind of piece in their, or most people have something in their life like that. That's like cameras are so expensive. Like just
Oh,
the
I know.
camera itself is expensive, and then you're talking like the lenses, like batteries for it, like all this stuff, like storage, like it's so expensive. And you said you're also a part of the like you have a role in the is it musical theater or is it just theater at your school?
It's just theater.
Okay. And what's how is that to you? Like do you feel like you learn a lot from that? Like do you think you've gained a lot of experience from that?
Yeah, like I've just experienced like, with me being I hate to like call it this, just me being a regular team member in
Mm.
freshman year, like I was just like so scared. I was like, because the thing was is that I always like knew that I wanted to do some sort of art,
Mhm.
but just being in the area that I live in, it's like mostly like finance and like engineering, and it was always stuff that I like didn't want to do. And I was like, I was
Yeah.
just like, what what am I gonna do? And I felt like that was like such a great outlet, and it is such a great outlet for not
Mm-hmm.
only me, but for other people as well. Because I just get to see so many people just like make this art and like, I see my friends like in this, like going into like, into drama or into like, you know, like graphic design, like building sets and stuff like that. And like being an assistant like a year ago and just like being able to like kind of like take over the filming aspect,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what really like got me into it because I was like, wait, this is kind of cool. I was like, I'm like having fun with this, like just like being able to film and like experiment with like so many like different things and like different people
Mm-hmm.
and just like being open to like do anything with it because like whatever you make, it's not stupid. Like I used to think that I used to be like, oh, like what I'm making is so stupid, and then people would see it and be like, that's so cool. Like it
Mm.
may seem stupid to you, but other people view it as something like just like so like good, like
Yeah, yeah.
so talent, so much talent, and with being production staff this year, I just like I still get to like show myself like through my art and be able to win awards for it and be able to have different people from different school productions see this and just like them coming up to me like asking me like how do you do this, like how did your team do this, and I just get to like yap about how much work we put in, like what we do it, and I just think it's like it's just so cool to be able to experience.
Yeah, be a part of like a collective project and stuff like that. Like that's
Yeah.
definitely I always think those are really kind of that was one thing I kind of discovered in high school that I hadn't really a lot of things I'd done them by myself, and I've been very independent my whole life. But
Mhm.
when I joined this YouTube channel with some of my friends, I kind of realized like this is kind of cool, like I can kind of, you know, express kind of my ideas and, look at other people's ideas and kind of
Yeah.
contribute, but not have to be the only person making this happen, right? I don't have to feel like I'm just solely
Yeah.
relying on my ideas, which is it's cool. It makes it sometimes it can be a little bit more enjoyable that way when you have a group of people surrounded who are also interested in something like you are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
What has there been anything or anybody over the years that has like inspired you? So whether that be a family member, a celebrity, media, any art, a friend, just somebody or something that has inspired you, what would you say?
I would say I have two. My first inspiration was my dad because I don't even know if he's gonna watch this honestly, but if he is, like, I hope he does. But
Hopefully.
he just like whenever we were like it started with just like vacation pictures and stuff like that, but like the thing was is that he encouraged me to do it, like like
Mm-hmm.
anytime we go to the littlest thing, he's like, are you gonna bring your camera, are you gonna take pictures, and I'm like obviously I'm gonna take pictures, and he's like instilled that in me at like such a young age. And
Mm-hmm.
I think like it's also like I think it's just so cool that like he was pushing me to do it. And like when I like had talked to him and I was like, I want to major in this, like I want to do the arts, like and he was like, like I always like saw you more as an art person, because both my parents, they're in more like quote unquote like more like quote unquote serious jobs. Like my mom's a doctor and my dad's a detective, and it like
Mm-hmm.
that stuff never interests me, and I was just like so
Yeah.
scared to like tell them like I don't want to do this, but like you know like
They're very supportive about it.
yeah, they were just like, the stuff that you make is good, and like I just want to be able to like speak to people, because I feel
Yeah.
like I don't get to speak to everybody, like I wish I could, but if I can't, like I want to be able to like speak to them through my art and to like make them question, because like nothing is a stupid question, you know like
Mm-hmm.
you can think one thing and it can mean the other, but like both ideas are are so like intellectual and just like so cool. So like I would say my dad is my first one.
Does you or someone you know have a piece of art that they've been looking to find but they just can't find it? Something to put up in their room that really shouts their personality? And, well, I might know exactly who you were looking for. And who I'm talking about, of course, is Vivid Joyce. Now, she makes art all sorts of sizes. Whatever size you need, you just give it to her, she'll make it for you. At prices as low as $20. She can do whatever design you were looking for. All you gotta do is shoot her that design, and she will have that ready for you. And to whatever specifications you need, whether you want that sketched, watercolor, whatever you are looking for, whatever your desires are, she can do that for you. If you or someone you know is looking for a piece of art to either gift, to put in your room, to hang on your wall, whatever it may be, she can help you with that. But other than that, go check out the link in my bio. To find her link, the link will be in the bottom of this video. And yeah, the link will be in the description of the video.
Also, my photo teacher, Mr. Seymour, I don't know if he's gonna watch this either. I may send the link to him. But, you know, he was my photo two teacher, and with just me, I am a very reserved and like kind of like more quiet person until like I get more comfortable, and then I start like, just start talking and stuff like that. And he was one of those teachers where I could see myself like evolving into this like now that I look back, I could see how much I evolved because of him and how much like I grew into the person, that I was and everything. And he saw like just how more reserved I was, but he was like, "What are you doing with this photo shoot? Like, what are you thinking?" Like, and I would tell him, and he was like, that all seems so cool, and he would never like, be like, that's a stupid thing. Like, he would never say that. If he thought it was silly, he'd be like, that's a silly thing, but like, why don't we add this in there? Like, he would be
Yeah.
encouraging and just like saying like, like, what if we do this? Like, what if you experiment with that? And, he was the one teacher that, like, I was excited to see him out of all my classes. Like, I would just, like,
Yeah, yeah.
I would talk to him and be like, this is what I'm thinking. Like, I'm going to do it. And he's like, I'm excited to see it. And then when we would critique it, he'd be like, this is so good. Like, obviously, not every photo shoot I did was good, but he made it that way so that I was confident in the future with my own artwork, and I
Yeah.
have those times where I'm like, the stuff I'm not making is good right now. And he would just be like, it happens to everybody. Sometimes they feel like they don't make good art. They're just in this block because they have like put out so many good ideas that they don't have any at the moment right now. He would never be like, this is the end, like you don't have any more good artwork to do. He'd be like, there's more artwork to come,
Yeah.
like there's more ideas, you just haven't thought of them yet. And it was just like he was actually the one that wrote one of my college recommendation letters, but
Well, that's good.
he yeah, he did retire this year, but I still keep in contact with him and everything. But I think like he was he was up at number two next to my dad with everything. I just think that he was such an amazing teacher, and he still is. Like I don't know what he's doing right now, but he's just such a good inspiration.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really good. I think teachers are kind of, a big leading factor. Even though I there's a lot of, in college there's a lot of professors that I don't like, and there's a lot of classes that I don't like, but every now and then you get that one teacher who's just really really cares about their job and just really cares
Yeah,
about the impact that they have on their students, and it's like, one of the best teachers you'll have. And I've had teachers over the years inspire me in different ways and not just one way. And it, and kind of like what you were saying about having, something not being good art. It's like art's entirely subjective, so in theory what you make, you might not think to yourself is good, and you might compare it to something else and be like, this isn't as good or this isn't better. But there might be somebody along the lines who might see how you put effort into that, and that might impact them, and they might see it as good art, like
yeah,
this. It's the in my opinion, it's the worst but also the best thing about art is entirely reliant on its impact to others and the person who made it. So it's
Yeah.
like there's the art that I made and how I feel about it, which at the end of the day is most important, at least to me. And
Hmm.
then to other people, it's gonna be how other people see that and how they feel about it is also where it gets its true value. Which again is
Yeah.
good and bad because it's kind of a tough thing to say, like that something is going to get its value solely on somebody else's opinion. But I think it's the truth because I think there's always people who are going to find that art and say it's good, you know.
Yep. No, for sure.
Um so that kind of maybe leads us into the next question of what art really means to you. That's kind of a tough question, I know. But if you had some way to answer that, what would you answer of what art has really meant to you over the years?
I think I shouldn't say I think, but I know art is just something, at least for me. I know everybody says it, but I think it makes me feel more loud in a room. Like I
Mm,
said, I, I'm more like reserved. Like not that I don't like talking to people, but
mm,
you know, I'm just a very like high functioning anxiety person. And
yeah,
I think being able to just express myself and show how I'm feeling or reflect on another person's feeling, I think that is what art means to me. Especially with the stuff that I want to do. I want to be able to reach people and just not give them an answer, but maybe give them a solution to something, or
mm,
or be speak to them without even talking to them.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
because I feel like everybody answered it like that, but I don't know if I'm wording it differently, but
No, I would say
I
yours is
don't
different. If make yourself feel loud in a room, not. I think that totally.
like
I think that's a great way to say it.
yeah, and being loud in a room is already if I had to yell in a room full of people, I'd be like, I'm so embarrassed. But
Mm,
if I did like if I made art, I do make art. What am I saying?
mm,
If When I make art and I am able to display it and show it, I feel like I am a loud person in a room because it's in your face.
yeah,
I use color, I use stuff to enhance it and stuff like that, and I want to make it loud. I want to make it in your face because I want to make it, known, because my whole thing is to shoot important topics, and especially with my sustained investigation for photography, which
mm,
is people's identity through photo shoot. Uh, just as people have been saying to me, I don't know who I am yet. I don't know what I want, who I'm gonna be, and I'm like, this is such a good thing to be able to shoot and be able to tell people like it's okay to not know who you are. I don't even know who I am yet.
yeah,
10
yeah,
months, years time, I can be somebody else than what I'm thinking I'm going to be today. And I think that's so subjective to people. And I want to make sure people don't have to feel like they have to know who they are so quick in time.
yeah,
So I think
yeah.
that's what it means to me.
No, of course. I think you should always be learning, and even though I don't like school, frankly, that's the one bone to pick I don't have with school. Is there's some classes where I hate how they portray learning so much, and I feel like they make it to where people don't want to learn. And I
Yeah.
feel like that's the biggest problem with school these days is you are deterring people from wanting to learn new things. And, it's not just a type of person, you know, it's if you can present a way of learning to somebody. Because at the end of the day, you learn every single day. And it's kind of like how you're saying about not knowing who you are as a person. It's like, you won't discover that until you learn new things, right? You're not just going to wake up in the morning and be like, I have a new, I have a new eyes. I have a new sight of who I am.
Yeah.
It's kind of. I feel like you never. Do you ever actually know truly? Because I don't feel like you do. I feel like you have boundaries and you have things about yourself that I think establish you, but I feel like you
Mhm.
don't actually know who you are until like the very end, right? Like it's like your
Yeah.
story, no?
No, it is. And it's going a bit off topic, but like one of the things I had watched, I saw the TV Glow this summer. I
Mm-hmm.
wish I watched it sooner. That was one of the things that, really pushed me to like, because over the summer, she was like, our teacher was like, you need to figure out your SI. We have like 15 shoots we have to do in a certain time period, and you have to plan it out. And I'd watched that movie and I was like, I relate to this one character, so much with like, going through this stuff and being like, I feel like everybody else has it figured out but me. But then like when I really like look at other people, they don't know who they are either, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like nobody does at this age. And people can like some people may never figure out who they are, but like the thing is like you need to be like confident with yourself that like you will find it soon, and you
Mm.
just don't know it yet. And you just have to wait. It's just a waiting game, you know?
Yeah.
I think like that as well.
Yeah. Of course. And it's kind of you don't have to make it, people, we don't have to make it so important in our lives to know exactly where we're going to be when we're 80 years old, you know.
Yeah.
Like I think it's good to have ambitions and goals of what you want to be and who you want to be. So maybe that's what you find out is who you want to be and not who you
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
And I guess I don't know. That's an interesting topic.
Mhm.
Um, well, I guess to kind of bring it back on track a little bit, this is kind of I found this to be a little bit of a tough question for some people, but what is a piece of art or media that you unapologetically enjoy that might shock others? And this would be AKA a guilty pleasure.
Oh. Oh.
It's like something I had somebody say that they over COVID they fell in love with RuPaul's Drag Race. Somebody said that that was their guilty pleasure.
I
Um,
love that.
yeah, there's kind of a lot of ones like that. So whether it be a show, a video game, something somebody might not expect.
Um, I would say it sounds so weird. Just like color theory.
Color theory.
I don't know. Like it was something over the summer. Like I'm always I saw this one person like post on Instagram. It was really about like like color theory and outfits and stuff like that.
Mm,
And I just went down this rabbit hole and I was like, color theory, like what
mm.
like if I use this color, what color will complement that color, And I was just like, I still think about it today. Like I actually color coordinated my outfit in color theory. Um, but
Would you care to explain what color theory is to people who might not understand what that is?
I yeah, I would say like color theory is just like figuring out the theories of color and like how they portray to people. Because like, what do you think when you think of red? I think of stop sign and angry. When I
Mm,
think of yellow, I think of sunflowers or the sun and stuff
yeah.
like that. And just like, thinking of certain colors and like, you know, putting like an image or your own thought into them. Like today I'm wearing blue. Like because first of all, I like the color blue, but also because I like the ocean. The ocean, I don't care what anybody says, ocean is blue.
Ocean is blue, yes.
It's blue. People say it's clear, it's blue.
Clear.
The ocean. Yeah, somebody said that to me, and I was like, no, it's not. I swear to God.
Water is
Like,
clear. but the ocean is
Water,
blue.
the ocean's blue, and they're like, no,
Lakes are
the
green.
ocean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. See, now you're getting it. See, like that's my thing,
In
because like,
every
you know,
depiction on the canvas, ocean will be blue.
ocean will be blue. I don't care what anybody says.
It could be
Like
green,
I'm
but
wearing
it'll be blue like 90% of the time.
no, literally. But like I'm wearing blue today because, I'm missing summer. I'm missing, the beach and stuff like that.
Mm.
And um, I'm wearing my gold piece of jewelry, like my gold, but like yellow, because I like wearing gold in the summer. I like when I have that like I'm like tan and stuff like that. So it's just like it's me using like descriptive words in my outfit. Just
Yeah.
like the other day I was wearing a green sweatshirt because that day I went on a hike and I wanted to match with the trees, and I was like,
Mm.
I'm going on a
Yeah.
hike. Like, I'm thinking of leaves and trees and stuff like that. So just like matching it like with what you're gonna do today. I think that is what color theory means, and I just think of like a word or a thing that matches like with the color. I don't know if that makes sense. I just went on a little tangent, but
Yeah,
like
no, it's kind of like how people do that with like school subjects, right? Like what's
yeah.
math? Like what is math to you?
That to me would be red
Math
because
is
it's
red,
hell.
yes. It's
I
wow,
hate
that's
math.
not I was just saying it was red. I didn't necessarily say that, but that's fair. Okay. What about science?
Science is green. I don't
Science is
care if
green.
some people say yellow, and I'm like, what are you talking about?
Science is not yellow. Science is green, indisputably green because green is obviously associated with all things living, and
Yeah.
science obviously dives into the, ins and out of living things and stuff like that. So, I don't know, it's green. Like some people go off like their textbook color. Um,
Yes.
but I like now math I do go off textbook color. Like I could say math could be orange or red. I could say it could be orange or red. Mainly red. But like if we're talking
Yeah.
like history is brown or yellow to me.
Like
Like
I would have to say it's like a brownish yellow.
yeah. Yeah.
Like
It's like
not even this
tan.
one. A tan,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. It's like I don't know. And then like literature is green. Is a dark green.
Yes. I don't care what anybody says.
We I'm
You're
s-
speaking
we're fully agreeing on this right now.
no, you're speaking my language. I was explaining this to my mom the other day. She's like, "What are you talking about?" And I'm just like, "You just don't understand me. Like this is just the thing to think about."
Yeah, no, I mean like I think that's a very interesting. I guess that's what one thing I was thinking about with kind of like songs because it's kind of the same mentality. Think about it. Like, certain songs have a certain emotion or vibe attached to them, just like how colors have, but it's not an all around objective thing. It is subjective. So I was thinking about this one song from the movie Grease. Okay. It's the song You're the One That I Want. And
Ah,
it's a song where like he's basically like singing like how he's like the opening line is it sounds like he's like really like he's in love with like the girl in the movie. Well, I was like if you take more of a spin on this, it almost sounds like he's insanely mad at somebody,
yeah.
and he's like kind of going crazy, you know. Now, there's certain parts in the song you're like, okay, it's probably not that just based off the lyrics because, maybe you'll say like, I don't know, something complimenting her attractiveness or something. I don't know.
Mhm.
And then you're kind of like, eh. But if you kind of think about it in that light, it kind of change. Like, so I encourage anybody to pull up that song and then listen to it and think of the dude as like he's insane. And then the girl is like trying to pull him back, kind of, you know. I don't know.
I no, I'm thinking about this, and I'm like, it's so similar to "Lover, You Should Come Over." So good.
What song?
Jeff Buckley
Who is that by?
by Jeff Buckley. Do you not know what that song is?
What is it called again?
Lover, You Should Come Over.
Is that
Lover,
what?
You Should.
Maybe I do
Sorry.
know that song.
Oh, it's such a good song. It's just like, I listen to that when, like, I don't know, like in the morning, like I feel like I'm just like, I'm so like out of it that I need like such like an emotional song to just like get me like woken up because I already
Mm.
wake up early, so I'm, like I need like something to just like jolt my, like I need something to think about before I'm like driving to school and I just like swerve because I'm like asleep. Like I just need like I need like a very like intellectual thing to think about in the morning. Like
That's
there's a
true.
different subject each day.
At about, when I wake up in the morning, sometimes wake up really early. And when I wake up really early, talking 6 a.m. or something like that, and I'm driving around
Mhm.
like 6:30, I will turn on music like very very slow classic rock music, or I like to call it like groovy music, right? Like I'll listen to the Commodores, I'll listen to like Chicago. Um, I don't know. Like I'll listen to Earth, Wind and Fire. Uh,
Oh,
yeah, like I'll listen to a lot of artists like that just early in the morning. And I will unapologetically listen to music like on full blast at like 6:30 in the morning.
oh, I know. I pick up my friend every morning, and um, she's like, I can hear your music from inside, Mackenzie. And I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm like, oh God. And they were like, um, I was like, I get into these like trances where I'm like, I just like, I'm repeating the song. I love the song. It's my favorite song. Like, if you'd ask me right now, what is my favorite song? Like, I would not be able to know to tell you. I do know my favorite artist, Steve Lacy. Love that man.
Ah, okay.
Um, like the other week, I was just like blasting Steve Lacy in my car. My friend was like, "Can we pick a different artist today? I don't really like this."
And you're like, no. It's like, no, we
I was
can't.
like, "This is my car. I do whatever I want. I will play with it." I want."
we
And
will
then,
we will listen to Steve Lacy and we will enjoy it.
and guess what? The next day, I pulled up to their house listening to Hamilton.
Hamilton. Hamilton.
Hamilton.
I haven't seen that play like in so long. Like I remember watching it when
Yeah,
it came around the time it came out on Disney Plus. Is it even on Disney Plus anymore?
I think so. I don't know though. I haven't watched it like in a
Man,
while.
that was like one of those things. You know what I mean? Like it was one of those things where people were obsessed with it. Like
Oh, I
I'm not about to say it's like good or bad. It's just people loved it.
I know. I remember I like I was like on the way to a friend's house and my mom would like let me play music in her car whenever like she was driving. And I was like, "Can I play music?" And then she's like, "Yes." And then she like gave me her phone and I pulled up Hamilton and she's like, "A different song, Mackenzie, please." And I was like,
Please.
"Why?" Even adding the please in there, I was like, "Why? Like just let me listen to my music. Let me obsess over it for a week and then switch to a different song next week. Like just
Yeah.
let me do just some please."
She's like, please, I beg of you. Like this is like a reoccurring problem.
No, literally. Same with my dad. Like he's like, "Song again?" I was like, "Yeah." It's like music masterpiece right here. I don't care.
I mean, it's like with I guess there's music, there's songs that they'll think about when I'm out and about, and I will just, when I'm by myself or when I'm working on something, like I'll just have songs that get stuck in my head. Like the other day, I had No Scrubs by TLC stuck in my head. Um,
Oh,
yeah, I had that one stuck in my head. And they're not, a consistent thing at all. It is sure
yeah.
it's basic. It's only based on like uh it's not even based on like genre, favorite artist, anything like that. It'll just be completely and entirely random.
Yeah. Like, for example, like my thing, like I'm leaving, like good riddance to senior year, but like I'm leaving like so many people. So like right now it's like kind of somber music because like
Mm-hmm.
it had just hit me this weekend and I was like, I'm like never like coming back to school again.
Yeah, you have
Like,
like
you know,
what,
like
2 months left? Something like that.
I I see the light. I see the light.
Yeah.
Um, like right now it's like somber music. Like I don't know if you've heard Don't Smile by Sabrina Carpenter.
I think so.
Like yes, so good. And just like it's so good. Like Where'd All the Time Go? Like I was with my team yesterday. By team I mean like my multimedia team.
Mm-hmm.
And like we were getting food and like that song had turned on because it was just like my playlist was on shuffle. And then like, one of my friends like in the backseat, like they're like, turn it off, like you're leaving and this is not okay.
Mm.
Because like they're mostly like sophomores and juniors and like a big chunk of us are leaving because we're seniors. And they were just like they like kind of like started crying and I was like, if you're gonna cry, like I'm gonna start crying. Like I just like it's like kind of like somber because I'm like, like it's going so off topic, but just like I just like hate to like be leaving them so soon. I think just like right now it's just like more somber and like a little bit more sad, but not like depressing songs, just like, you know, it's sad, but like I'm moving on to like something else,
Yeah, yeah.
you know. But
I'm
just like that.
I'm sure it's nice to be like uh it's cool to have music as an outlet to basically to make you feel I guess um it's a very comforting thing to have in your life, and it's, there's different music that applies to different scenarios, and there's certain songs that will remind me of certain things in my life. I don't know if I've said this on the podcast, but Bon Jovi reminds me of my childhood because I would get in the car with my dad and we would listen to Bon Jovi. And I always
Oh
thought the
yeah.
song Dead or Alive was Barrel of Life for like maybe 7 or 8 years of my life. So there you go. Me misunderstanding what would be one of my favorite songs. But
Yeah.
but to bring it back on track a little bit because we are almost out of time. But what are some difficulties that you have run into? Um, basically whether that be difficulties in kind of coming up with things to capture in photography, or difficulties in your multimedia team, anything like that.
I think I'll go to photography really quick. I
Mm.
think with photography, it's like we've said multiple times, like it's so subjective and you can say so many things, but especially when you're trying to shoot, like, especially, it's not my style because a lot of people do it, but like, like my type of work, I think you have to put more effort into it than somebody who is doing like patterns or something like that, patterns in the world,
Mm-hmm.
and like to like put down anybody else's work like at all. But I think it's just like it's so easy to get into this like in like at this wall where you're like, I don't know what to do, and sometimes you just gotta like sit with yourself and be like, okay, like what can I pull from myself that can help me, like what
Yeah.
are some experiences like that I have had where I can make it into an art piece. And I think like that's such a it's not a it's well, it's kind of a problem, but it's not like, like terrible. But
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel like some people get stuck there and they feel like they can never get out. And,
Mm-hmm.
I've been in there multiple times, especially with my photo class where I'm like, I do not know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it just like it feels so awkward, but you just have to like sit with yourself. And like sometimes you gotta think like who has ever wronged me so bad that I need to make this into an art piece? Like
Yeah.
sometimes
Yeah.
I think of that and I'm like, okay, like I'm gonna do this. Like and like like switching to multimedia, like I think a big problem is just like collaborating with people. Like I people just have so many like good ideas and sometimes we just can't get to all of them,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's like finding like an equal balance of like showing, each person's idea, which is the hardest. And for me, it's really hard to say like no, especially to my team, like we can't do that because like I know that it would look so good, but like we would just not have the right materials, or we
Yeah.
wouldn't have the thing, or we just wouldn't have the equipment to do it, and I hate saying no to people, especially like my team when they have like again, like when they have these like such good ideas that I'm just like, we can't do that. Like it's either not in
Yeah.
theme, we don't have the stuff to do it, or like we don't have the personnel to help us do it. So I think like those are like my main two.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I think it's good to have somebody in like a creative type team who, if somebody were to come up with somebody who's going to be a little bit more grounded, so if I were to
mhm.
tell you, okay, we're doing this little home movie, why don't we just like drive a car through a building and we'll have a scene where we do that. You have to have somebody
Yeah,
who's going to come in and be like, we can't do that, like we're literally like, we can't even afford a single car, so,
yeah.
you kind of have to have people like that to be grounded, I guess. Well, what is some advice then you would give to people in your situation?
I would
I
I would
would
say just like
I was gonna
sorry.
say real quick. I was gonna say it seems like there's a really interesting theme here with this conversation, and that's been nostalgia, I guess, with
Mhm.
kind of you going into art school and really opening this next chapter in your life. So, maybe some advice going towards that, if you have any too.
Yeah, sure. I would say like with nostalgia, like I think like looking back, like, you know, at me in like kindergarten, I'm like, she has like grown to be such like a like wait, I'm like spacing out.
Oh, you're
She has
fine.
grown yeah, she has like grown to be such like even if I don't see it, other people see it and they tell me. And that's not to sound cocky or anything, but like, they see something in me that maybe I don't see all the time. But I mean, especially with me being able to have this opportunity to go to an art school
Mm-hmm.
and, wanting me to go there and, express myself through my art, I think that's just you know, like I said, I look back and I'm like, like I'm so proud of myself from like just being this anxious, like always like on my toes, like little kid to now you know, being pretty much the same, but just being able to like maybe not express myself through my words, but being able to be able to tell how I'm feeling or like tell a story through my artwork, which I think is like really moving, especially not just to me, but to other people as well. And like I would say like as advice, like even if like you don't think you have something to say, like you have something to say deep down, you just don't know how to say it yet. And
Yeah.
that's where I was in freshman year. Like I was like I like what do I want to say? Like how do I want to leave my high school and how do I want to what impression do I want to leave myself by? And I want to leave it as, you know, I haven't quite I've found what I want and what I want to do in life, but you know, I haven't found my identity and
Mm-hmm.
I can change in whatever point of time as time passes, but like, I found what I wanted to do and like even if you take a gap year or if you don't go to college, like you are going to find something that you like to do. And even if you're 50 and you still haven't found it, like you are going to find it soon. Like, and
Yeah.
I tell everybody that, and I think it's just like an emotional thing to people. Cause I feel like, some people struggle with that in their identity. And that's like just my main idea behind all my artwork and like behind my AP photo on for senior year and everything. So that's my advice to people.
Yeah, I think there's definitely been a theme of identity and nostalgia in this episode. I think will be really nice, and I think a lot of people, especially freshman college people can relate to, and I'm sure they can get a lot of support from that, because obviously people change majors in college a lot. Like I think one of my teachers was saying, every student changes their major at least once through their time in college, which I've already
Yeah.
changed it once, so it's like, well, I haven't actually officially changed it, but I plan to, and that's something, and well, I want to thank you for being on. This has been another great episode of the podcast. I think if you were looking to find any of Mackenzie's links, they will be in the bio of this video. So whether you're listening to this on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, or you're watching this on YouTube, you can find it there. And is there anything else you would like to leave our listeners before we go?
I don't know. Just sit with yourself, I guess. That would be what I'm leaving with. But yeah.
All right. Well, I want to thank the listeners for listening to this episode, and definitely go ahead and follow me wherever you listen, just so you don't miss any new episodes. And I hope that you guys have a great rest of your day, and see you at the next one. Goodbye.